4-H portion of the conference. I am in grade 9, and this is my 6th year in 4-H. I am a member of the Champion 4-H Beef Club and the Arrowwood River Wranglers 4-H Horse Club. Having projects in 2 clubs gets a little complicated, but it's fun all the same. So, carrying on with this, our first speaker today will be MARDI Kitchen. Learn to do by doing. At the last possible minute. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For over 100 years, 4-H Canada has been teaching valuable life lessons to members ages 6 to 18. This is my 5th year of being involved in a 4-H program, and I can say I have learned many life skills throughout my 4-H career. For example, I have learned how to give a speech in front of a huge audience, how to keep a record book, and how to be a leader. I have also learned how to judge some very interesting things, like goats, eggs, birdhouses, and even the fine art of cross-stitch. But 4-H has also taught me things about myself, things I likely would have discovered too late in life. I learned that I love giving speeches. I have a passion for working with cattle. I enjoy helping people and being a leader for my club, and that I am incredibly talented at procrastinating. Procrastination is found within each aspect of my 4-H. Let me explain. There are many projects and assignments that must be completed throughout a 4-H year. During a year of 4-H in my club, I must fill out a record book per project I have, a diary for my accomplishments and participation within my club, write and present a club speech, and so much more. All of those activities I have listed are just a handful of things I procrastinate on in 4-H. For example, my record book. I always wait until the last month before they are due to start rapidly filling it out. The most time-consuming portion of my record book has to be my clipping pages. These pages of your record book display what you have learned throughout the year by showcasing what 4-H activities you participated in. My favorite picture in my record book last year is one of my calf in the ring on Achievement Day, with his feet in the air. Duff was used to walking beside you rather than being led, so when the lead shank was tugged in the Achievement Day ring, he dramatically rolled his eyes to the back of his head and flopped himself onto the ground. This was his chance to show his diva side in front of a huge audience, and he took advantage. Now looking back, the embarrassment could have all been avoided if I had just worked with him more often, but of course I was too busy putting it off. My 4-H diaries were a whole different level of procrastination. In the past 3 years, I had not once handed in a diary. And diaries, I may add, are extremely important. They're your evidence that you were in a 4-H club, and the diary points you have received throughout the years help to give you scholarship money. I never handed in a diary because I kept telling myself, I'll just do them over the summer, then hand them in at the first meeting of the fall. Well, I never did them over the summer. But this past year, my mom photocopied my diaries, and so I could actually fill them out and hand them in all on time. I sat down at the kitchen table one afternoon, and I did not stop until each and every book was completed. Many hours of writing later, I remember holding my right wrist, rubbing my aching fingers, and muttering the words, I have got to stop putting things off. This speech I'm giving right now, I procrastinated on it too. Believe me or not, the past 3 years, I wrote my speech a whole month before my club speaking, giving myself tons of time to practice. But this past year, I finished writing my speech on the 7th of January. That was the day before school started after Christmas break. That meant I had less than 2 weeks before my club speaking. At least I finished it before school. We'll see how procrastinating worked out, I guess. The 4-H motto is said at every meeting my club has ever held. Learn to do by doing. I can say that through my future 4-H career, I will continue to learn new skills, tasks, and things about myself. No matter how I get it done, I still meet the deadline, even if that means learn to do by doing at the last possible minute. Thank you.
is Niles Clark. Niles is 16 years old, and this is his 6th year in 4-H. He spent his first 2 years as a member of the TNT Multi-Club, participating in projects ranging from welding to small engines. The last 3 years, he has been a member of the Lethbridge-Coldell 4-H Beef Club. He is currently participating in a pheasant project and plans to continue with 4-H until he graduates. Niles' presentation today is titled Awesomeness Cubed. Please welcome Niles.
Testing.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. What is a Rubik's Cube? I bet everyone in this room has either heard of them, held one, and quite possibly even solved one. The standard Rubik's Cube has a white surface on top, yellow on the bottom, adjacent to that is orange, and opposing is red, and green is opposite of blue. You know the cube is solved when all 9 colors on each face assume the same color. This here is known as a 3x3. What constitutes a 3x3 exactly? I'll show you. If you look closely at any standard cube, you can count the amount of edge pieces that exist on one side. This one here, for example, has 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3. In fact, the cube family starts at a 2x2, 1, 2. It goes to a 3x3, this one I have in my hand. Then a 4x4, 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4. The 5x5, and in my own personal inventory, I have the 7x7, quite a challenging cube. And the cubes keep going up into the largest commercially sold Rubik's Cube, a 17x17. A lot of people believe that a genius figure such as Albert Einstein created the cube. These claims are false. You see, Albert Einstein's life ended in the 1950s, and the cube was created in the 1970s. This man here created the cube to help his students better understand 3D geometry. The architecture professor goes by the name Ethno Rubik. In that day, he created the cube. He had no idea what impact it would have on the world. At first, the cube wasn't designed to be a toy. The idea was to make a 3D object with interchangeable pieces without the cube falling apart. The cube shown on the screen doesn't look much different from today's. The cube has 43 quintillion different combinations. That's 43 followed by 18 place values. This number was determined by a group of university students. Since the cube's production in the 1970s, it has become the fastest and most popular toy in the world, having over 350 million units sold by the year 2009. Because of the cube's popularity, it was dubbed Toy of the Year 2 years in a row in the 1980s. When the cube was first licensed in 1979, it was called the Magic Cube by its creator, and over time, it developed the name the Rubik's Cube after its creator. The fastest solve time for this Rubik's Cube is held by a Lego robot, the Cube Stormer 3. Powered by a smartphone, this machine solved the cube in just 3.253 seconds. You guys should check out the video, it's pretty cool. The first ever international Rubik's Cube competition was held in Budapest in 1982, and it was won by 16-year-old Min Tai. He solved the cube in just 22 seconds. The biggest recorded Rubik's Cube in the world, shown on the screen, was created by Tony Fisher in his backyard. It stands over 5 feet tall and is fully functional. It is made out of cardboard and some plumbing. Pretty crafty guy. Also by Fisher, the world's smallest Rubik's Cube. This 3D printed cube It spans over just 5 millimeters and is fully functional. Then someone rich decided it was time to make this. This here is the world's most expensive Rubik's Cube. It is valued at over $1.6 million and contains entities such as gold, diamonds, rubies, etc. Even toddlers can solve the cube. This toddler on the screen, at 2 years old, solved the cube in just 70 seconds. And today, people are taking Rubik's Cubing to the next level, solving them underwater, one-handed, even by, oh, sorry guys, okay, wrong slide. This is actually an art piece that somebody made. It is made entirely out of Rubik's Cubes, just in different combinations. Some people might recognize it as the famous painting by Van Gogh, Starry Night. And this is the slide I was describing before, of people who can solve the cube underwater, blindfolded, single-handedly, and so forth. Next up, I got some variations of Rubik's Cubes that some of you might not be familiar with. The first one I got here is called the Fisher Cube. It is much like the 3x3, 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, except if you guys can see, the center lines have been manufactured at 45 degrees off the original. Therefore, when you turn the cube, it has a tendency to shapeshift. To solve the cube, you need to return the shape back to a cube and solve it by colors. This here is called the mirror cube. At first glance, it looks a lot like the 3x3, 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3. Instead of solving it by colors though, you solve it by shapes and proportions. Because of the cube's nature, it can be solved behind one's back. All they have to do is feel the different pieces and measure the different edge lengths with their hands. And before you know it, with enough practice, you can solve the cube. This is the, I'd say, scariest cube of the bunch that I have. It's called the Ghost Cube. If any of you ever want to take a crack at this, you solve it the same way that you solve a 3x3, okay? It's a little confusing, and I'm sorry if you guys can't see at the back, but what it is the difference between this and the original Rubik's Cube is that, yes, you solve it by shapes and proportions, but your top piece and bottom piece have been turned 45 degrees. And so what you have to do is you have to turn the top and bottom layer a quarter turn, and from there, you can turn the cube in any direction that you want. And when you guys can see, this cube gets a little hairy once it starts getting messed up. So I advise you, before you mess this up, to familiarize yourself with each of the pieces, because none of them are the same. This cube, I can't solve behind my back, way too hard. Yeah, so there are a few laws with Rubik's Cube that it obeys. Most people, when they solve the cube, solve it by layers, starting at the top. The white layer has a sticker on top, so that's what people are most familiar with. They start with the white layer, and then they go to the middle section there and solve that next, and then they work on the bottom. You can turn any side of the cube without it affecting the other side of the cube. But when it comes to the Gear Cube Extreme, you have to solve what's called the equator layer first. This is the middle section of the cube. You solve this one first because you can turn the top and bottom without it affecting the other side. But because of the gear effect, when you turn the right side of the cube, the left side goes in the opposing direction. So that adds an extra element to the cube when you're solving it. The last cube that I have of the bunch is called the Megamix. So it is not a cube at all, actually. They call this a dodecahedron, a 3D shape with 12 sides. You solve it in the same manner as a 3x3, putting pieces where they belong, just that instead of 4 sides on each face, you now have 5. These are all the cubes I have in my personal inventory, and if you want to solve them, you just have to learn the moves of the 3x3 because all the moves can be adapted to all these different cubes. I hope you never forget the journey it took to get this cube so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Niles. Our next speaker, Kadence Albrecht, is also our youngest. She is 11 years old and placed third at a regional public speaking competition. Kadence is a member of the Irvine 4-H Beef Club, and this is her third year in 4-H. She has held the position of club reporter and has enjoyed keeping fellow county members informed about her club's activities via the local paper. Kadence enjoys all 4-H events, especially winter and summer camp. Please welcome Kadence with her speech titled, My 10-Day Adventure.
Mermaids, tractors, pirates, cars, cowboys, princesses, fairies, bugs, teacups, dwarves, evil villains, superheroes, and dolphins. Let me take you on a 10-day adventure to the happiest place on earth. Good afternoon, Anna and Farming Smarter Delicates. Day 1, my family and I boarded a plane for 2.5 hours that took me to a beautiful land. And in this beautiful land, we had a van and a house with a pool and a hot tub in an amazing backyard. Day 2, my family and I walked 1 mile to our desired destination. Unfortunately, there are thousands of other people, but we waited in one long line and went on a fun ride called Roger Rabbit's Scary Adventure. The rest of the day was full of sightseeing. Day 3, my family and I decided not to visit the theme park, but stay at the house and have a pool day. My cousin and I were in the pool for 8 hours. Day 4, my family and I went to Venice Beach. It was a beautiful beach, but the people who lined the boardwalk were very scary. It looked like some of the people lived there. Others were trying to make money by selling their artwork or playing an instrument. One guy had an albino boa constrictor around his neck and would charge money for people to have a picture taken holding the snake. My mom hates snakes, so we were not having any part of that. Others were holding signs, begging for money or wanting to sell drugs. Seeing all these people was a very good lesson for me to stay in school and never do drugs. On the bright side of things, there was a big candy store. My dad and grandma are sugar freaks, so they both bought lots of treats. My dad got a cereal called Marshmallow Madness. It is an all-marshmallow cereal, but the real reason he got it was to bug my 2 little cousins who love sugar, but their mom does not allow them to eat it. Day 5, I started the day with an early morning swim followed by shopping at the outlet mall with my dad. After shopping, my family went to a dinner theater called Medieval Times. Every section of the theater is given a night to cheer for, and supper is served while you watch the show. The best part about the supper was you have to eat it all with your hands. The show was amazing. The night showed horsemanship and jousting fights with swords. I got to cheer for the yellow and red knight, but unfortunately, our knight lost. Day 6, I woke up super early so my family and I could head to the theme park. There were all sorts of fun rides. We rode the rides such as the Little Mermaid and the California Screamin'. And I'm not kidding, you scream a lot. We also went on a fun ride called Radiator Springs, where you get in a car and drive through the rough red coulees. And at the end, you race another car. It was a blast. Day 7, we watched a dolphin show, a sea lion show, and a whale with orcas. They were all great shows. We also found cool touch pools. The sea creatures were very slimy. We went on a manta ray ride, which was a fast roller coaster. And at the entrance and exit to the ride, you got to touch manta rays. Day 8, my cousin Kayla and I woke up early because it was my little sister Harvey's birthday. We wanted to make her happy because she was sick. We made French toast and eggs with fruit for everyone, and everybody said it was great. After breakfast, we walked to the theme park. We rode Space Mountain. It was a very dark ride, with lights that looked like stars, and that made us feel like we were in a rocket, flying through space. Day 9, we headed back to the theme park and rode Pirates of the Caribbean and Matterhorn bobsleds. Once again, the park became very busy, so we spent the rest of the day at the house back in the pool. Day 10, this was our last day at the theme park. My mom and I rode Guardians of the Galaxy. It would drop you 50 feet. My heart felt like it was in my head. When my mom and I looked at the picture they take while you're on the ride, she started laughing because I'm screaming the whole time. We also went on a tractor ride called Mater's Junkyard, a carousel, and the Little Mermaid ride. After the theme park, our whole family went to Joe's Crab Shack. This is my dad's favorite restaurant in this area, and their food was great, especially their seafood. If you haven't already guessed it, my family trip was to Disneyland in Anaheim, California, and SeaWorld. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I can't wait to go back another time.